For me, it has been so hard to understand, realize, and recognize that I was depressed, had major anxiety, and that suicidal thoughts were in my mind. Why would I have these types of thoughts when for almost 25 years I had very good jobs with good incomes? I did not understand how I could allow myself to be sad or give other people control over how I would feel. I have bought great houses and own awesome and expensive vehicles. I have a wonderful wife and children, but even with all of this, I was still very depressed and I could not understand why or stop feeling from this way. Growing up, I had a very similar childhood to most people, getting into trouble like all kids would, but for the most part, I was a happy kid. As a young adult, I worked very hard to compete and become successful in a very competitive white-collar industry of IT. Growing up in Mexico, it was normal to believe that good income, nice cars, and possessions meant being happy. And when I discovered this was not making me happy, I was shocked. Maybe you can relate to my experience during COVID. The changes we all experienced were difficult, but during COVID, I felt very isolated working from home and also had a horrible manager who constantly questioned and micromanaged my work. Every day was difficult and I could not escape because I felt like I could not quit the job during the uncertain time because too many people were relying on me. My self-esteem, my confidence went down the toilet. Even now at times, sometimes triggered these emotions and I feel myself going back to the despair and frustration I felt then, even when the current situation is not as bad. It is hard to recover fully from some things that happened to us. Now, why am I undertaking this long, difficult, tiring bike trip? It is because I want to bring awareness to young people and adults, and especially men, that anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts are so real. And we need to find ways to help ourselves and those around us who are struggling with the same feeling. Sometimes they can be managed or minimized by taking medicine, talking to a therapist, talking to friends and family members, and asking them for help. And also can be reduced by doing daily exercise. This is key part for me to take care of myself. In my youth, I was a very active child. I would be either playing basketball or soccer for hours daily. Now, as a 50-year-old, I can't because I'm not as young and invisible, right? Now, due to age, I had to switch to non-contact sports like cycling or golf. I feel like I'm very slow and new on my bike. And in golf, at least I can say I hit about 50% of the balls. So it is an improvement. You are never too old to learn something new, especially if it helps your mental health. My objective during this very long bike ride is to stop at schools or anywhere I'm allowed to and talk to students and people about the mental health problems many of us are facing daily and continue to learn and share with people that there is hope, help, and that our lives can be drastically changed just by at least exercising and getting help. These problems don't just affect us directly, but also affect the moods and dynamics of our families, especially if we are the head of those households. I want to tell you that you're not alone, that many of us are suffer from these feelings, and it isn't a taboo anymore to talk about it with others, that we can be happier again by acknowledging and accepting we have a problem, and most importantly, to ask for help. We can feel love again and feel normal in some way if we work on it. I have talked to many people since I started this bike journey and have heard them share their personal experience with me, telling me that they lost their son or their daughter or sibling due to suicide. This breaks my heart, and I want to share a message of hope and action with people all over the American continent, as these are my people, and I want to improve their lives in some ways. I have felt suicidal myself. I know how hard this struggle is, especially due at the mix of feelings of being inadequate father, husband, and provider. I feel I have a responsibility to share this message that life is not over, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even though you might not see it for months or years. I know being away from my wonderful wife and two children will be hard, especially because I will be missing my daughter's high school graduation and my son's 26.2 marathon. But I feel this is my mission for the next 6 months. And yes, it will be uncomfortable riding my bike for hundreds of miles a day in cold, wet, and cold conditions, climbing very high hills and mountains. But if this helps one person and their family, this will be worth the time and money. I hope you guys enjoy our journey, our ventures through all the American continent, and share this video with others. Yo sin límites.